When did you first realize something had gone horribly wrong?
Well, we were on the flight, and it probably had been for 10 hours already when I heard screams. I got up from my seat to figure out what was going on, and very quickly realized that there was this gentleman screaming that he was that he had names of people that worked for the CIA, and he was screaming those names, not making too much sense, and so, you know, almost in the form of a reflex, I got up along with a few other passengers, and at one point he reached out for something in his pocket, in his jacket, and that's when about 3 or 4 of us basically tackled him to the ground. He resisted and started saying things like, they're trying to kill me, they're trying to poison me. And so the United crew helped us and provided us with plastic handcuffs, and that's how we were able to calm him down. And from that, we were able to put him on a seat and sat him down for the remaining 6 hours of the flight.
We're looking right now at photographs of him from WABC being escorted out of the plane. Let's look at pictures now that you took from inside the plane after he had been handcuffed. There were still several hours left in the flight as he sat there. What did he say? How did he act?
Well, at first he was being very paranoid, talking about the fact that he was being poisoned. He was complaining about the flight attendants throwing darts at him in the back, and that he even made claims about the plastic handcuffs being poisoned. Not making a lot of sense. He was screaming a lot, but within 30 minutes or so, he calmed down. And when we realized that one of his concerns was that he may have scared some of the children on the plane, both the passenger who was to his right and myself to his left started talking to him about our children and about Father's Day and things like that to calm him down. And then he went into more of a subdued state, and it ended with him crying and being scared of landing. And we kept telling him, you just need to keep calm and be quiet, and everything's going to be okay. He was refusing to take medicines that were in his bag and that a doctor on board had identified as stuff that he should be taking. And then when we landed, we were able to have him being picked up by the police, and then the FBI came on board, and then the district attorney.